Hey, Dustin Tibbetts here, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth Managers. How you doing today? So I was just sitting around messing with a customer's 401k, and I thought I'd try to share as much of this as possible. This is going to be a little geeky, so hang in there with me. This is not a general video. Our customers, we work with them on their IRAs, Roth IRAs, things like that, but we help with accounts that we can't manage for them, like their 401k. It's just part of the deal, right? We want to get the whole net worth to retirement with everything. So if I can fine tune that to me, that gets me excited. And so I had a customer that gave me a list of the fund choices that they had in their 401k. Decent list, not too bad. But they had chosen the 2050 fund. They were just trying to be aggressive, and they chose the 2050 fund, which is well past their retirement date. And a lot of times what I find is people that choose the target date fund are taking more risk for less returns than if we just spend a little time and try to analyze the other choices that you have. So I'm going to share that with you, and this could be a hot mess. This could be really cool. So I'll take whatever comments you guys want to leave for me, but let's take a look. Here is the fund that they have access to. It's the Fidelity Freedom 2050 fund. So the Fidelity Freedom Fund is not a bad fund. They've got their pluses and minuses, of course, compared to others. But here's what we have. So here's the fund that they're 100% invested in. What I want to do is I want to lower their cost, I want to lower their volatility, and I want to improve their return. That's how I approach all of our funds on our website. It's also how I approach customers' 401ks. So here we go. The Fidelity Freedom 2050 Fund, in terms of volatility, we'll say max drawdown. I'll just use that as my example. There's other things we're using inside of this, but let's keep it somewhat simple for you. Expense ratio here, 0.5%, not bad, about average, maybe a little bit below average overall. And so we're good. Average annualized returns, 5.9%, not bad, could be better, but the markets are a little bit messy, so that's what we have. What I did is I took the list of their funds, I'll share them with you, and I created my own mix. And on the surface here, it looks like, okay, overall, annualized returns, a little bit better than the Fidelity Fund there. Max drawdown, certainly a lot better. So from just using this metric, I've reduced the volatility, though I wouldn't just use only that. I've also lowered the cost, right? 0.43% overall by using more funds, by the way. And I'll give you a look here. Here's what we chose to put inside of them there. Now, keep in mind, we're limited by the choices they have. So these are not recommendations for you to go out and buy. It's just the choices they had. We had to make the most of them. And then we've got each percentage here. This is where I'm starting. This may not be where I finish with this customer, but here's where I'm starting anyways, based on some of the analysis we've already run. So handful of names there. You've probably seen a lot of them there. It's very Fidelity focused. That happens to be the fund that they're participating in. And so that's what you have so far. So the first thing of trying to reduce volatility, trying to reduce the cost and trying to improve performance is what we have. If you want to go over to a chart and take a look at that, we can see the performance here is just as far back really as we can go to share this here with you. We've got the Fidelity Freedom Fund in orange, and we've got my mix here in purple. Now this is looking backwards, of course, but we've already proven that we've been able to lower the volatility, improve the performance, and lower the cost. And that's pretty sizable, right? 23% versus 27%. So even if this doesn't continue at that spread going forward, maybe on the surface, we've got a little something here that we can give to the customer and say, good, I think that's a starting point. Let's revisit it in 3-6 months, something like that, and see how we're doing, see what's changed. So that's that one there. What it got me thinking was, why don't we go through and try to actually take a look at all of them here? So I put together a quick scan. This is every 2050 fund minus the advisor class shares, anything front loaded. There's not a lot of them, but basically we've got 204 different 2050 funds to choose from, and a lot of them are the same. It's not that there's that many. There's different classes of them. I should have filtered by class as well, but today I'll use the R6 one for showing this here. What we've got is volatility in terms of standard deviation plotted there, max drawdown here, and the total performance, at least so far, annualized over each year. So if you just wanted performance, you could sort this column here and go, all right, what's the best one? American funds, we'll put that on the chart here in a second. American funds kicking butt there in terms of the best performance. Just looking down, you can see some of the other names in there, Schwab, T. Rowe Price, Voya's in the mix, although they don't use their own funds. That's interesting. JP Morgan in the mix as well, Dimensional. So if you're sorting by performance, that's what you get. Very quickly, you could see, all right, I'm getting great performance, but at what expense, right? I would have had to suffer through a little bit more of a drawdown there. So maybe something to consider. That looks to be just the virus dip, by the way. I don't think that's a normal historical number for that one. But that's what you have. So you got a little fun comparison there. So then what I did is I went over And so, well, let's take a look at all of them on a chart. And just for fun, let me back this out here for a second. Here are as many as I could get on there anyways, the 2050 funds of the same class. So we're not accounting for any change in class there, at least as far as I can tell. Yeah, we look good. Okay, so wow, what a difference, right? As you're looking through this here, you can't just blindly pick a target date fund. Now, the good news is most 401k plans only give you one target date fund to choose from, one brand, I should say. And so in this case, they had Fidelity to choose from as their mix there. But what a spread, right? If you're looking at the best performing one, it's American funds, which is interesting, right? I think it's rather interesting. They tend to be more expensive. This fund doesn't have to be more expensive, but that's the best performer. I'll share why with you in a second. I think I know why. So best performing mutual fund, 2050 fund. Worst performer down at the bottom is Wells Fargo at the moment, so nothing good going for Wells Fargo right now. But although the chart looks tight there, that's a wide spread, right? Annualized returns anywhere from next to nothing all the way up to 6.75%. So not something you want to just blindly look over if you're taking a look at this. One other thing I want to point out is the volatility, or in terms of the expectation of return variance there. Take a look. So it's going to look messy. I'm sorry. It's going to look a little messy here, but basically we can think of the most volatile. I'm just using one metric to talk about this for now, so don't bash me if you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, you're looking at the most volatile fund not also being the best performer. I could accept a lot of volatility if it meant I was going to have a great return. T. Rowe Price Blue Chip Fund, very volatile, but that's a beast of a fund, right? They earn it. So you hang on tight and just know they got you covered, basically. But here we can see that the most volatile fund in terms of standard deviation anyways is Putnam. So Putnam is the second worst performing fund. Not that that's bad, I guess, but compared to everything else, second worst there. And they're the most volatile. You wouldn't accept that, right? If you have a 401k that's got a Putnam target date fund in it, you've got to ask the question, am I better off investing in a mix of funds like Dustin just put together there or not? American funds, highest return overall. That's total return, by the way. American funds, highest total return, and about middle of the road. I would say lower end here. If you really look where it's at, it's below average in terms of volatility. I can accept that, right? I could even accept this one here. Second most volatile fund overall is our Freedom Fund, Fidelity Fund, by the way, but returns are pretty good, right? So I could accept that. If you're gonna give me better returns and I have to hang on a little tighter, as long as I know that ahead of time, I'm cool with that. That's something I can work through. By the way, the American funds, let me see what I can do for you. The American funds one here. Here it is. So this is the best performer of that American funds. And as you can see, it's not made up of stocks. It's made up of their other funds. I'd be willing to bet that if we looked at these, this would have some of the bigger performing names, those top 5 that have been performing well. I don't know this. I just pulled it up. So we'll go to this one, obviously, good performance and everything. There it is. Yep. So the top fund has the top positions of Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon. These guys are just killing it in here. Got Netflix in the mix as well, Home Depot. Okay, so that's why that one's done well. Let's look at the second one just for fun if you're still hanging with me. Their Washington Mutual Fund. And go to their holdings. Microsoft, top performer, well, 7%. So that's their biggest position inside of that fund. So you can understand why maybe a little bit more when you're looking at this one fund, why they perform so well. It's because our American funds target date R6, they perform so well because they've got a lot of the bigger leaders in there. If those bigger gainers, Amazon and Microsoft stuff, start pulling back more than the market, this one will pull back in line about average. So I'd say this is about probably a temporary blip on the screen. So if I back this out here for a second, it looks good now, but it's maybe a hint artificial at the moment. We just hope everything continues to do well there. But anyways, that's what we got. So I know a little bit odd today what we covered, but like I said, I was just looking around. It's nighttime here. I was just kind of doing some work for customers, and that improves their performance. But I get to report back to the customer, I lowered your cost, I lowered your volatility, I improved your performance, and it wasn't just a shot in the dark, right? Like that American funds. You've got the right mix now to use, and there you go. I added value, right? People always say, "What advisors? What good are they?" and everything. There you go. All right, that's helpful. Times that by the next 15, 20 years. Well, they got 15 years left to go. Even if it's kind of better, that still adds dollars in their pockets, and that's what I like to do. So anyways, I hope this helps. Just a quick video today. Nothing too fancy to share with you. You enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you later on the closing beat, by the way. I hope you'll join us there, and be sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe button. Go ahead, do it. Help me out. Do all that good stuff, and we will talk to you later.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.